Three, two, one. Welcome to Sydney Reflect, Liviya.
Thank you, Vikesh. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
We are glad to have you here. Our topic for today, main thing is tax system, how to reduce taxes, and how can we save taxes. That's like our main topic today, and that's why you are here with us. You are a senior accountant, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, all right, and you are also an international student here.
yeah. Still an international student.
You're still studying.
Yeah, I'm still studying Masters of Professional Accounting in Homes, and actually, I'm waiting for my permanent residency. So,
Mm-hmm.
but still an international student.
So you're working as an accountant while you're studying. We should talk
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
too, because that's one of the hardest thing for all of us, like to get a professional job and work in the professional job while studying. So tell us your story. What is it like? When did you come in? How has your journey till that of being an international student has been?
Okay. To be honest, life
Mm-hmm.
has been a bit difficult as an international student.
Mm-hmm.
I came here when I was 18 years old in 2014. Sorry. I came here to study Bachelor's of Commerce, major in professional accounting in Australian Catholic University.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the beginning journey was same as most of the students had. I actually enjoyed for a couple of months, and
Mm-hmm.
when I came here, I had my cousins here, which made my life way too much easier. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, they taught me how to approach to people for jobs, apply for jobs, and Australian cultures, and many more. But I think despite having a guardian who has been here for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was not being able to understand the main purpose of their guidance at that time. Maybe I was too young.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've realized now is I actually didn't focus on building communication skills, building network, and I didn't actually reach out to people back then.
Mm-hmm.
Even my university used to organize a lot of uni events and program, and I actually regret now that I didn't took part in. I actually took part in only one cultural event, which is
Mm-hmm.
in my last semester, and I didn't continue building that network after that as well. So yeah, I if I had participated in uni event
Mm-hmm.
and built up my confidence and network when I was in university, so I would have been in a better place right now. But I think still I'm
You're
in a
learning.
better place.
You're learning that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think realization is the most important thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's never to start anything. Um, so yeah, as an international student, I had I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
go through that phase as well, and yeah, and talking about my career,
Mm-hmm. Before we go to your
I
career, the
used to
thing,
work in fast
yeah.
food.
Before
Yeah,
you talk about the
sorry.
career, let's talk about the thing, like you just said, like communication and networking, and how important it is, like being an international student out
Yeah,
here. Because we, even with the university activity, as you said, like I was kind of a lucky, or I was kind of able to go out and see there like what is available, and I was able to utilize that, because every university have their own kind of, like different kinds of scholarship or different kinds of like opportunities for international students. But we just get limited to our work and study, and we just don't want to go out and explore all of that, which is very wrong, I think. Like as you said, it's about going out, building up that communication, about networking, because you're in a new place. And if you really want to get settled down here, I think it's a good idea to go out and know more about the place, know more about what's happening, what kind of people are there, learn ways to communicate with people, because it's a second language for us. It's hard. So it's only going to improve when you go out and practice that, right?
yeah, of course. Yeah, and also I had this fear of public speaking back then. So
Mm-hmm.
just I think because of that as well, I was not reaching out to peoples, and
Mm-hmm.
I had very few people around me when I finished my bachelor's degree. So very few people, very few network, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually wasn't able to speak like this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good, man. That's
yeah,
great to know. And I think a lot of people who come in here say that actually, like how they were not so much confident about public speaking or speaking like this, and now because of being here and going through all of whatever they have to go through, they are much more confident now. That's like the story of most students who ever come here, mostly in my podcast actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So about
Yeah, I
your
think
work, you want to say something?
yeah, I think being able to build a good network of people and good communication skills is a key to success.
It is. It is very much, especially if you are in a place like this. So going now towards your work. So as I said, it's like an awesome thing that you're actually studying and working as a senior accountant right now, which is like one of the most difficult things for most of us. Like as an international student, even me, I couldn't do that. So how did you get into job space while you're studying? Tell us that part of your story.
Okay, so as usual, when I came here, I was 18 years old, and I used to work in fast food and hospitality. But when I was about to finish my last semester of bachelor's degree, there was always the thing that I should not end up here, and I should look for a better job. I should be in a field of accounting, what I have always interested in, and so I tried to look in Seek, and indeed I applied so many companies, but most of the companies would require an experience which I didn't had at that time. It is very difficult to get an accounting job without having an experience. I used to apply, I think, 3 or 4 companies in a day, and it was very frustrating. But one day, I got a call from the company Shine Business Advisory, where I'm currently working. They approached me for an unpaid internship for 3 months, 3 days in a week, as I didn't have any experience. So they and also they didn't even promise me a job after internship. So it was quite difficult to choose that path, whether should I join or not, because it's 3 months, 3 days in a week, and it's unpaid internship. So I was a dilemma, and I actually vividly remember that day. And I called my mom, and I asked her whether should I do it or not. I'm very confused. And she replied me that don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid not to try. So that really struck on my head, and yeah, and I took that opportunity, and I really worked hard, and I did overtime as well. And after I finished my internship, they offered me job there, and it's been almost 4 years. I'm working there, and I'm a senior accountant there. So that's how my journey started in my career.
Nice. So did you know about, like, did you apply for the job for Sign Advisory, or did you get it through someone else? Like, was there a vacancy
Actually,
and you applied?
Yeah, I actually applied. I think I saw post in one of the in Facebook. Yeah. I saw the post in Facebook, and I actually didn't realize until I got a call that I have applied that. I just randomly applied, and I think I got a call after 1 or 2 months. So I was very surprised, and I went there for an interview, and they approached me for the unpaid internship, and yeah, and that's how it started.
Had you faced any interviews before the Sign Advisory one?
I faced a phone interview, and not face-to-face interview, but a phone interview, and everyone require few months of experience or 1 year of experience, even for a fresh graduate accounting role. They require experience, and it is very hard to get experience even for a fresh graduate. So yeah.
So you hadn't faced most of it, because I think interview is also a process where, like, most people struggle. Like, they get an interview, but it's like hard for them to actually score in that interview, and you just did it in once. So did they actually approach you saying that we would provide you an unpaid internship, or did you started that?
Actually, they approached me that they, I mean, I think it's during July, August, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
busy season of tax. So I think they require internship as well. So they approached me for unpaid internship,
Mm-hmm.
and I just said yes. Yeah,
Yeah, all right. That's nice to know.
that actually changed my life
Of course,
and
of
my
course.
career.
Yeah, that's good to know. So, being in that space, you should know a lot about tax and tax systems than me or anyone normal people like us. So, what's the tax system like in Australia? Like, why is even there a tax system? Why do we even pay taxes? What's it's like?
Okay. So first, why we pay tax is
Mm-hmm.
for government to government is providing so many government services to us. The recent example would be COVID grant,
Mm-hmm.
disaster payment, job
Mm-hmm.
keeper, job seeker, and even COVID free test, COVID
Mm-hmm.
free vaccine, and
Mm-hmm.
also in order to give that kind of service to us, they need to collect money as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they collect that money through the tax system. And yeah, so that's why we pay tax for the government services we
Mm-hmm.
use in the future or we have used in the past. Yeah.
Even now, I think the roads we use, the lifts we use, the train system we use, all of that
Yeah.
runs on the taxes, right? That's why we pay taxes. So how does the tax system work? Like what happens when we pay tax? Where does it go and how does it work? And also, what's the difference between TFN and Avian? Like there are two things. So what are they actually?
Okay. So when we pay tax, it directly go to ADO,
Mm-hmm.
and ATO at the end of the financial year, if you have to pay if you pay tax more than you require, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll get some amount of money back. So I'll come to that a bit later. First of all, let me talk about tax system in Australia. So
Mm-hmm.
um, Australia has a progressive tax system,
Mm-hmm.
which means that the more you earn income, the more you have to pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
And as an individual, if you earn less than $18,200 in a financial year, you don't have to pay tax, and it's a tax-free threshold as well for
Mm-hmm.
the individual. Um, so yeah, and that's the tax system in Australia. And talking about
What happens
TFN.
if we pay if we like earn like more than 80,000? I mean, get 18,000 something. What happens after that?
So you have to pay tax according to tax rate.
Mm-hmm.
So it from zero to sorry from $0 to $18,200, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to pay tax, and after that, whatever you earn, you have to pay tax on the basis of tax rate the Australian government has applied. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What does that look like? Do you have it in mind?
Um, Actually, I don't have in my mind. Just give me a second.
Yeah, maybe just
Um,
Google it.
yeah. So
I
from
need,
zero to eight.
yeah, I need
Yeah.
someone who will Google things for me.
Okay. So from 0 to 18,000,
Uh-huh.
the tax rate is zero.
Mm-hmm.
So if you earn 18,000 from 18,200 to $45,000, you
Mm-hmm.
have to pay 19% of tax,
Mm-hmm.
and from 45 to 120, it's 32.5%, and so on. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and maximum tax rate is 45%.
Mm-hmm.
From 18,000, from 180 100,000
Mm-hmm.
over, you have to pay 45% of tax.
Okay. So all of us has to pay, like if I earn, let's say 25,000, then I have to pay 19% of the 25,000. Is that correct?
Actually, not 19% of 18 the full amount.
Mm-hmm.
How the tax is calculated is on, for example, if you earn 20,000,
Mm-hmm.
in 18,000 you don't have to pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
So in the remaining amount you have to pay tax only 19%. So that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. So
So
basically, if I'm earning like 20,000, So I don't
Mhm.
have to pay anything for 18,200, and I'm paying
Yeah,
like 19% tax for the rest 1,800 only.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So that's how it divides the tax. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and what's the difference between TFN and Avian?
So TFN is compulsory and is required by every person, every individual who is working in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
while Avian is not compulsory and it is only required when you want to operate a business or want to pay it as a contractor or a subcontractor.
Mm-hmm.
And with TFN, the tax is taken at source. So which means that when you get paid every weekly, fortnightly, or monthly,
Mm-hmm.
certain amount of tax is deducted and send it to your send it to ADO by your employer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while in tax, if you work in TFN, you have to pay tax at the source.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you earn in Avian, you have to pay tax at the end of the financial year.
Okay. So it's like you have to pay more when you work in Avian, or how does that work? No, right?
No, the tax rate is similar. So if you earn uh, 20,000 in tax
Mm-hmm.
at TFN, if you work in TFN, so every week a certain amount of tax is deductible, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when you get paycheck, a certain amount of tax is deducted, and you get paid through the remaining amount.
Mm-hmm.
And in ABN, if you earn something, you'll get the amount because you are a contractor or subcontractor,
Mm-hmm.
or you are operating your own business. So there's no any tax deductible at a source. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm. So you have to pay your own taxes based on what you earn. The thing about TFN, when we work, they cut out taxes. What
yeah.
is that based on, and how do that just get accumulated and we get back money, later on?
So yeah, so it is in TFN the tax is
Mm-hmm.
taken at a source, which means it is taken at a time you are paid by your employer, and it is sent to ADO.
Mm-hmm. How
By
much
this,
percent of that is sent to it? Is there anything like that?
it is it depends on how much you earn in a
Mm-hmm.
week, in a monthly, and how much you earn. I mean, how much you get paid. And it also depends on first job and second job and threshold. So it depends on so many things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Okay. It depends on that.
yeah,
And based on that, they send us some kind of tax every week or every month whenever we get salary.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
every time you get paid, certain
Mm-hmm.
amount of tax deducted, and that deducted amount is sent to ADO by your employer.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the financial year, while you do the tax return,
Mm-hmm.
that's why you get refund if you if you paid more than you require. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you earn $23,000 in a financial year,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, for example, if you earn $18,200 in a financial year,
Mm-hmm.
and the tax deducted is $500, for
Mm-hmm.
example. So in $18,200, you don't have to pay any tax.
Mm-hmm.
So that $500, that's how you get refund
Good
at the
refund.
financial.
Okay. Mm. That's interesting. They sorry, but they make you pay upfront more than what you might be paying later,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
I mean, yeah, it is a Australian system. So yeah, it is
Mm.
something like that.
That's interesting. That's also a good way for like international students or people like us who don't earn much. Like we have, like it's kind of like you're getting a bonus once a year.
Yeah, it is. I think Australia has a higher tax rate
Uh-huh.
for the people who earn more, but
Mm.
I think it's very good that they don't we don't have to pay tax if we earn more less than $18,000. So
Mm.
that's a plus point for Australian taxation
That's great.
system.
And if someone, first of all, can a student work on his avian and have his own business while on his study visa?
Yeah, but I mean, if his working hour is only 20 hours,
Mm-hmm.
so he can work 20 hours only in Avian as well,
Mm.
and earn something. So yeah,
But if you're
but he
doing,
can't.
mm-hmm. You were to
But
say
he
something?
Yeah, but he can't work in tax in 20
Mm-hmm.
hours, in Avian in 20 hours. So I think I'm not a migration agent
Mm-hmm.
to talk
Just what you
about.
know. Of course, we are not experts, but we know.
So just what I know is
Mm-hmm.
he can't work on tax in 20 hours in
Mm.
Avian in 20 hours. So his total work limit is 20 hours. So I think he has to mention that 20 hours per limit um, per week.
Mm-hmm. But how would someone track the hours if you're working on like a business, or if you're doing your own business, like some kind of, if you're doing, let's say, some kind of drop shipping business, how would you track the hours?
Um, for
That just
that,
occurred to me, man. That's a very good idea, actually. That just
that's
occurred to me. That's a very good idea.
that's a tricky question, but I think whatever you have earned
Mm,
in Avian, for example, in Avian, there wouldn't be any hours written in Avian, so you are getting paid in invoice or anything.
mm,
But if ADO wants, or if migration wants, they can check. They can't actually check the hours, but they can
mm-hmm,
check how he's earning, and I think it should be possible to prove that he has only worked 20 hours and earned
mm,
that much money. So if he can prove whether he just worked 20 hours, I
mm.
think that would do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good idea. I just got it. But, like if you're a student, maybe do a drop shipping business or something like that.
Yeah, but
You wouldn't see the, like how many hours they have, because that was the thing with the Uber Eats before. Now they have changed it. Now it's like, it's how much time you're online. It determines the number of hours and everything. But that was a similar condition with the Uber Eats before, where it wasn't kind of exactly possible to track the hours. Or we didn't know about it somehow. And I used to do more than 20 hours in Uber Eats.
yeah.
So, but that's good to know. So it's 20 hours in total, TFN and Avian plus minus
Yeah.
whatever. You can't
Yeah.
go more than that. All right. So now, okay, we have to pay taxes, for all the things that we are getting, from roads to bridges to everything. We need to pay taxes. But there is always that option where we can reduce our taxes, right? The amount we are paying.
Yeah.
How's that? How does that work?
So when you do your tax return,
Mm-hmm.
you can claim so many deductions. For example, like uniform,
Mm-hmm.
laundry, shoes, car expenses, travel expenses, self-education expenses, phone expenses, and now it is very popular working from home expenses like
Mm-hmm.
electricity, internet, or there's a shortcut method as well. So you can claim
Mm-hmm.
0.8 cents per hour
Mm-hmm.
while working while working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So these kind of expenses make your taxable income lower, and you have to pay less tax than it used to be. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there are particular things that you can claim, whatever expenses that has been happened in your work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it?
So
Mm-hmm. You were about to say something?
yeah, sorry. I was about to say that, yeah, I think, and it's always good to keep all the receipts and
Mm.
all the proof that you have bought something for your work purpose, and so that you can claim the maximum amount you have incurred while working,
Mm-hmm.
and um, to reduce your taxable income. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything expenses that, I think it's more possible when you're working in Avian rather than in TFN, because
Yeah.
there are limited things you can do with a TFN. Like, you're working with someone else, so whatever the uniform maybe, transport maybe, there are like smaller things. But when you go into Avian, I think we have more options with that, right?
Yeah. So even in that case,
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend everyone to keep all the receipts
Mm-hmm.
so that we can claim the actual expenses in Avian. And why we can claim expenses in a higher amount in Avian is because
Mm-hmm.
Avian is we use Avian to operate the business. So operating a business and getting paid salary, I mean, has more expenses than getting paid as as an employee. So that's then you can claim more expenses in Avian. And yeah.
I think that works as a good way to reduce taxes. Like again, it's not possible being a student actually. But you could do it after you are in your TR or something like that. Where if you want to pay less taxes, maybe start a business.
Yeah, but you can't actually claim the false expenses. So it must be related to your work, and it should be directly related to your work. Then you can claim, and you must have a proof. And if ADO audits you, and if you provide the proof, if you couldn't provide the proof at that time, so they will fine you, and there's some obligations after that. So I think it's better. It is better to keep all the receipts and all the proof. So yeah, and also it is always good to claim whatever is legal. So you can contact your taxes and financial advisor, or also if you want to do by it yourself, you can check it in ato.gov.au for all the information. And so please claim whatever you can, and whatever is legitimate, so that ATO won't audit you in future.
Yeah, I think we're just lazy to keep on visiting the websites of ATO and checking everything. Instead, we will just pay it. But that's not the...
Yeah, and ATO website has so many information. Anyone can get overwhelmed with the information.
Exactly.
There's so many information out there.
Where do we find the exact thing that we need for? We don't find it. It's hard to find it there. And that's why we need a tax agent, I guess.
That's why we are here.
But can you do like your tax return by yourself instead of going to a tax agent?
Yeah, you can. You can definitely. You can. So if you have a good knowledge, and you think that you do if you can do a good research, it's pretty easy to do it ourselves. And also it has different option through MyGov account. So you can lodge it through there. And I would recommend, if you are very familiar and if you are very confident, then only you can do it from my ADO MyGov account. And yeah, so there are so many things to be claimable. So for that, do your research or consult your tax agent to get a maximum refund.
Yeah, sure. That's why we need that. Like as I said, that's why you need, I think, tax agent. It's not just to do the tax return; it's somehow to reduce the taxes. That's where you need the tax agent, I guess. But it's also like, as I was saying, the Tfn and Avian thing, because one of my friend is doing Uber Eats in his car, right? So what he has done is that he has actually claimed whatever the expenses of the car was as a part of his business, right?
Yeah.
So he can claim that, which means he's using the car for his personal use, and he can repair it and say it as a kind of it went for the Uber Eats business, and claim those like repairs and everything. Can we claim fines? No, I think.
No fines. Actually, fines falls on personal expenses. So you can't claim any fines or penalties. But what you can claim is on the basis. So if you earn just $5,000 in Avian, and you want to claim all the expenses, all the car expenses, so that wouldn't be legitimate. So if he had claimed it like that, there is more chances to get in audit. So even that, you should have a knowledge how much percentage did you use for your work, and on the basis of that, or you can take a logbook where you can claim actual expenses that are incurred, and this way you can claim each and every expenses that are related to your work in a legitimate way.
Legitimate way, right? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I like to know about like things, like they say a lot of this. Maybe you can explain this better, like how multimillionaire peoples or multi-million companies, like they earn so much, but they pay so much less taxes. Is that true first? Like is that true, or is it just what I've heard through like just word of mouth? And if that's true, how do they do that?
At the moment, I can't say it's true or false.
Uh-huh.
But in the same context, I just remember one line from Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He has mentioned in his book that most average people tend to pay more taxes.
Yeah, that's what I heard that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and in explanation, I think it is because rich people don't rely on one sources of income. And the more you generate the income, the more, the more you generate the income from different sources, the more deductions and expenses you can claim, which eventually reduce your taxable income. So, and that is why you will be able to pay less tax. So I think that's the thing. That's why maybe rich people pay less tax in compared to other people.
But is true that the more you earn, the more taxes you pay, right?
Yeah.
So how does that come out to be managed? Like, the more you earn, you're earning a lot, but reducing the taxes somehow decreases the overall taxes. That's kind of like interesting.
Yeah. So so if you more earn from different sources, you definitely have a different deductions from different sources. For example, if you have a shop and if you have a finance company, so for both, you have to pay rent, and for both you have to pay for electricity, and you have to pay for water or internet and any more. So you come up with a higher expenses too if you have a higher income. So the higher income and the higher expenses would reduce your taxable income, and you have to pay tax on only your profit. So that's why the rich people maybe pay less tax. Yeah.
That's a good trick to know, man. That's a good trick to know. If you can have like multiple ventures, then you can actually reduce taxes while you're earning more. That's I don't think I've thought about it like that. It's when we see at the current tax system, as you say, based on that bracket system, it's basically the more you earn, the more you pay taxes. But if you can just go through a different way out there, then it's like you're earning more, but you can actually reduce the taxes. That's a very good idea to know.
Yeah, and of course, I can give you an example of investment property. So if you invest on any rental properties, you can claim interest paid on loan, depreciation of that house or property, repair and maintenance of house, startup fee, and any out-of-pocket expenses for that particular property. So in that way, you'll reduce your taxable income. But by saying this, I'm not a financial advisor, so it's always better to get a proper financial planner for a proper financial planning. So
yeah. So it's basically like they just buy a house and just keep it, so that whatever loan they have to pay for that house or whatever expenses they have to pay for that house, it actually helps them reduce the taxes, right?
But it should be rental property. Then only you can claim the expenses.
You mean
you generating income? Yeah, you should be generating income from any source. Then only you can claim the expenses. So it is clearly stated that you can only claim work-related expenses or income-generated expenses. So that's what I mean. So only if it's a rental property, then only you can claim the deductions related to that house.
So this means that if I, like, let's say, get a house by certain loan, okay, I get a loan from the bank, I buy a house, right? And I put it on rent.
Yeah.
right? In that case, whatever interest I have to pay for the bank loan, whatever expenses I have to do for the house, I can claim all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another idea. That's a good thing to know. See,
Yeah.
things like this, like we don't know things like this because we haven't studied it, we haven't heard about it, no one talks about this, but things like this are, you should know because it helps you to grow. We have never been taught.
Yeah.
Like, what's your take on this? Like, where we come from and how our education system is, or how our parental system is. We have never been taught about our finances, how to handle our finances, how to manage our finances, right? Have you had
Yeah.
that kind of experiences?
Actually, back in my country, my father owns a shop, so
Uh-huh.
I think maybe because of that, I came into accounting business. So
Mm-hmm.
I used to count money,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually used to write income, how much he earned back in country when I was in my teens. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe because of that reason, I actually came into this finance and accounting. So yeah.
But
So
did they teach you about like how to manage money, or like basically how to manage money, how to grow either money or to handle money better,
mm,
do you think?
I mean, I mean, so actually for that, little bit, but not
Mm-hmm.
too much. My father used to give me some money for when I used to go college, and
Mm-hmm.
he used to check on that how much I save, and we used to actually discuss
Mm-hmm.
in the evening that how to save money and all. So yeah, that was I think that really helped me. So
That's good. That's good to know. Because yeah, as I said, I never had that experience. My mom did tell me to save money, but that was all the financial suggestion I ever got. That's all that I ever come to know about how to manage money. I just learned along the way, like as I grew up. But that's the thing. If only something like this was somehow, like put into education system so that people could know about like how to manage money basically, because that is one of the basic needs of life. So that's the sad part, but it's good to know like few things you just gave on the tips on. That was good to know. And I have another question. I don't know if you would know about this, about cryptocurrency and tax system.
okay, so any cryptocurrency or any capital gain, you made it
Mm-hmm.
through shares or swapping coins or selling coins or any selling of shares, you have
Mm-hmm.
to pay tax on anything that you generated profit.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are getting confused and confused with the withdrawn money, but
Mm-hmm.
it is not about the withdraw. It is about if you instantly sell something and you get a profit, you can
Mm-hmm.
claim that sorry, you have to pay tax on that profit. Whereas if you instantly sell some shares or coin and
Mm-hmm.
you sold it in a loss,
Mm-hmm.
you for that loss you can carry forward it to the next year, or
Mm-hmm.
you can deduct it in your profit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it works in terms of tax.
But you have to pay taxes about whatever profits you got, right? So
Yeah,
whatever basically
yeah,
throughout the year, whatever you have profits you have got by buying and selling, not by taking out of your account, you
no,
have to pay taxes for that. And if it's a loss, keep a record of it because you can actually deduct it.
yeah,
All right, that's something that I have recently known, and it's a good thing to know because I'm getting into like cryptocurrencies and shares, not much, but just to try out, just to learn how it works because I think it's a good way to play with your money again. Like
it's been very popular few years, for a few years. So
right, right, go on.
yeah, and I think yeah, and it is a good way to make a few extra income as well. So yeah,
Yeah, it is very hard. Like you have to give a lot of time for this and do that because tried trading, like doing like a
yeah,
crypto trading or share trading. requires a lot of time and a lot of knowledge. Not my thing to do. But even now and then, I just keep on trying, like small amounts, not like big amounts, like only $100 or something, like, just to try to see like how does it work out, or whatever I predicted works out or not. I keep on doing that experiment, but I'm mostly into like investment for like long-term investments rather than like short gains, as you say. And I think there is a different tax system for that, right? Like if you hold it for certain years.
Yeah, if you hold it for more than 12 months, you have to pay. You only have to pay tax on 50%.
So yeah, is the tax system similar to the tax bracket we have for Tfn and Avian, or?
Yeah. So it will add up to your total income, and you have to pay tax on your total income. So, for example, if you earn 10,000 in your tax, 10,000 in Avian, and 10,000 from your sheer capital gain, so you have to pay tax on 30,000 in total. So that's how it works.
But again, the 50% thing, how does that work after 1 year?
Okay, so if you earn, if you hold a share or coin for more than 1 year, and you sold it and made a capital gain of $100, and you only have to pay tax on $50.
Okay, so whatever the profits, so I think it would be included before it goes to like the total income, right?
Yeah.
So it will be declared before, and then the total income, whatever comes, and then you have to pay to taxes. All right, that's good to know. The other question I also wanted to know was, is there like a different tax system for businesses, except that for Tfn and Avian?
Yeah, of course. Different business has a different tax rate, and there is no threshold for businesses. So you have to pay tax from $1 of profit, and
$1 of profit? What do
I mean? You have to pay tax from $1. So there is not for individual there is $18,200 of tax-free threshold. So businesses don't get that, so they have to pay tax on every amount they earn.
Okay, so
every profit they earn.
What's the tax rate like for like a business?
Tax rate are different for different companies. So there are so many partnerships and companies, and also there are different rates. Actually, I didn't have that in my mind because
that's all right.
And also small and there's different rates for small entities, base entities, and all. So you have to get in very deep on that.
Okay, but there is like a particular tax system for businesses. Like they have to start paying from $1, but it's like the same throughout the whatever. If you earn $1 or if you earn $1 million, it's the same tax rate. Is that true?
No, not the same tax rate. So it also they also have a tax bracket. So so they also have a tax bracket, and I actually different tax.
Okay. Are you looking for it right now?
I'm trying to, but actually
that's all right if you don't find it. Just out of curiosity. Yeah. Curious about things like that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Liviya. It was great talking to you. Would you like to suggest anything, or do you have anything to say to our audience or to our listeners?
I think we covered up everything, and you really asked the very tricky and very nice questions. And thank you so much for having me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. So actually it really boosted up my confidence, and thank you Vikesh.
Thank you for coming here, Liviya. Thank you very much for your time. If you like this video, hit subscribe. You can listen to the full podcast in YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.